Growing up, I've always loved gaming. Hell, even as a kid, some of my earliest and fondest memories all revolve around video games. I'll never forget as a kid coming home from school, blowing through my homework just so I can kick back, relax, and play some of my favorite video games. Well, next thing you know, life sorta just took over from there. I graduated from high school, moved out of the house to go to college, and next thing you know, gaming was no longer a priority in my life. And I know for a fact, I'm not the only one who ever felt this way. With all new responsibilities, exams back to back, plus a social life I had to keep up, it seemed like my love for gaming all but faded. Until now, that is. Having recently graduated from college, I now find a lot of free time on my hands, so I've sort of embarked on a little bit of a journey of self-discovery to help find that spark once more. So, without further ado, here are some tips that I've personally found useful on how to fall in love with gaming once again. I think one of the major things that initially deterred me from gaming was I would try and play as many games as possible in such a short time without actually ever finishing any game first. This in turn ended up making me feel very underaccomplished while I was playing games, yet overwhelmed whenever I tried to come back. And for that exact reason, I find it very important to pick up and focus on one game that you know you are going to be interested in at a time. And if that game doesn't really click with you, it's okay to drop it and just move on. There is no shame in that. Additionally, by doing this, you're not only avoiding overcrowding your plate, but you're also saving money, which, let's be honest, is kind of important whether you're currently into video games or not. Finally, by focusing on one game at a time, gaming really becomes more special. For example, as children, many of us were lucky to even get a small handful of games a year. And because of that, whatever games we had felt important and impactful. And on top of that, new games actually felt fresh, exciting, and brand new, a high many of us have been chasing ever since. I do just want to make a little bit of a side point, and that is to ignore your backlog. I know this sort of goes against the idea of saving money by playing older games, but just hear me out. We all have one, some worse than others, but genuinely do not look at your backlog unless there is a game you genuinely want to go back to and play. For many, your backlog could be incredibly overwhelming, so at all costs, it's just best to steer clear until you are ready to finally return and conquer it. Circling back, by playing one game at a time, you're also not adding to this backlog, allowing yourself to really just focus in and play the games that matter to you. Now let's say for argument's sake that every game you try and pick up and focus on just doesn't really click with you. In that case, it might be a good idea to look retrospectively and try a game from your past that means a lot to you, specifically one that helped you get into gaming in the first place. By doing so, you're not only playing a game that you know you're going to love, but you're also playing a game that's very nostalgic for you. And while nostalgia certainly isn't everything, it might help to elicit some strong emotions in you by taking you back to simpler times in which life was carefree, you had very little responsibilities, and gaming was not a chore either. Additionally, by revisiting these games from your past, you might just find the reason why you fell in love with gaming in the first place. Clearly, there was something special about these games that really helped light that spark for you. So by going back and replaying these games, you might just reignite that fire and maybe even figure out what it was that ignited it in the first place. Now let's say you finally get into the groove of gaming. From here, I think it's really important to find a game that works best for your schedule. As many of us start to transition into the adult world, whether it be college or the workforce, a lot of us have a lot less time to dedicate towards gaming anymore. And as a result of this, gaming sort of takes a bit of a backseat as things like classes, work, or even interpersonal relationships start to take priority. And these are all healthy and natural progressions of anybody's life, which is why finding a game suited towards your schedule is so important. Many of us no longer have the time to sit hours on end playing games with the boys or whittling away at an 100+ hour RPG, so maybe it's not such a bad idea to pick up some casual games or even some shorter games in the process. And if you still find that you do want to invest hundreds of hours into an RPG, that's great. Just remember, it's not a race. Take your time. Sometimes the simple answer is to mix things up a little bit. Whether it's picking up a new game, trying a genre slightly outside your comfort zone, achievement hunting, or even finding a new group of friends to play with, adding something new to the mix might make things a little bit interesting for you. For example, I recently started streaming over on Twitch again. Shameless plug, I know, but hear me out. Not only has Twitch given me a brand new community of people to socialize with as I game, but it's also helped me stay focused on the games that I'm playing. By giving me some sort of external reason to come back to games, I see them through to the end more. Hell, even the creation of this video is part of my process for rediscovering my love for gaming. But this is just what's worked for me personally. I understand that not everything I've mentioned is going to help everybody, but that's okay. We all have our own personal needs, so it's important to find what works best for you. My honest hope is that you, the viewers, take at least one thing from this video and apply it to your own personal journeys. And if none of these points resonated with you, I at least want my final and most important point to resonate with everybody. I know this might sound crazy, but gaming is supposed to be fun. And if you aren't having fun, then what's the point? Some people might not think so, but at that I strongly disagree. All too often we get caught up in the stresses of our day-to-day lives or focus too much time on a game that just isn't worth it, that we forget that gaming is just supposed to be fun. And by redirecting your focus to having fun, you might just relive the days of rushing home from school, booting up your favorite console, and being taken away to the wonderful world of gaming once again. Gaming is supposed to be beautiful, and I sure hope that this video has helped some people find that love once more. Thanks for watching.